Hello students, today let us discuss a new topic, that is paper chromatography. In the previous class we have seen the basics of the chromatography and also different types of principles of chromatography. And also classification of chromatography. In that classification we are going to discuss a first step, that is paper chromatography. So in the name itself we are seeing it is a paper chromatography. Chromatography is nothing but what? It is a separation technique in which mixture of components is separated to individual component. So here through a paper, we are using through a paper, that one we call it as what here? Paper chromatography. So what is the use of this paper chromatography? In laboratory, to separate the amino acids or to separate the mixture of components, most common method we are going to use here is paper chromatography only. And here the paper chromatography will separate the milligrams to the grams. Okay, so means what here? The paper chromatography, the milligrams compound mixture to the grams. So that one, this is the main purpose of this paper chromatography. So by this what we can define here? We can define the chromatography is nothing but here the technique in which an unknown substance is separated by the flow of solvent on a filtered paper. This one we call it as what? Paper chromatography. Means what here? The unknown substance, whatever spots we are taking on the stationary phase, so it is going to separate by the mobile phase through a filtered paper. That one we call it as what here? Paper chromatography. Okay, so means what here? We can take different types of papers. So the separation maybe will be depends upon the partition chromatography. We can say in the principle of partition chromatography we have observed. So let us see what is the principle. The principle is nothing but what? It mainly depends upon partition chromatography. So partition chromatography we have discussed. What is partition chromatography? It means distributing. Okay, partition means we are distributing the mixture. So coming to here, it mainly depends upon the solubility, as we have seen in the previous class. So coming to here, the partition in this technique, here we are paper is using as a support. Here the paper works as a stationary phase, which is an immobile phase, right? So the stationary phase comes under what here? Paper. The stationary phase will be coming under paper and mobile phase will be coming under liquid. Okay, so and the sample also is present on the paper. So means what here? This paper, whatever we are taking, it is coming under what here? Stationary phase with a solvent which is acting as a liquid. Okay, so and other solvent also we are going to use here. So by this what we can say here? This is about partition. So here if you are having polarity nature is polarity increases, what happens? Solubility decreases, right? If polarity decreases, what happens? Solubility increases. So by this it mainly depends upon what polarity we have spoken. So why it is going to decrease and why it is going to increase means based upon our mixtures what we are taking here, and also it depends upon absorption chromatography also. The principle is going to depend upon Adsorption chromatography. So adsorption means what? The solvent molecules is present on the paper. That one we call it as adsorbent. Okay. So here the paper which is already present like silica. We are using a silica gel, alumina. So these are the adsorbents we are using, and the solvent we are going to flow here. Okay, so this is nothing but principle of the paper chromatography. And coming to here, which type of filter paper we have to take? The choice of filter paper. Okay, so what is the choice of filter paper? So which type of filter papers we can take here? The paper used in paper chromatographic technique mainly is here Watsman filter paper. What is the filter paper we are using here? We are using the paper here is nothing but Watsman filter paper. It can have different sizes, 2 into 15 centimeters it can have, or 30 into 4 centimeters. So different types of sizes we are going to take. What this size indicates? So in the filter paper we are going to have pores which we cannot see. We can see under only microscope. So like this the paper consists of no, right? So in this paper this small holes is present in between them. So the size of these pores, maybe we can take it in 2 into 15 size or 30 into 40 size, 4 size we can take it, the Watsman filter paper. Okay, so in different types the paper depends upon the type of separation only. Whatever filter paper you are taking here, this paper depends upon type of separation. Okay, here Watsman filter paper is commonly used for chromatographic only. So in Watsman we are having alpha cellulose filter paper, that is 98 to 99%, beta cellulose filter paper, that is 0.3 to 1%, ash. So ash is also one of the filter paper, here 0.07 to 0.01%. So these are the percentage the papers is going to contain. So what are the solvent we are going to use for paper chromatography is, here the stationary phase, mobile phase contains. If you take the stationary phase as water, the mobile phase will be phenol. And if you take the stationary phase is water here, the mobile phase is N-butanol, butyl alcohol or acetic acid, or again water. So the ratio will be here 4:1:5, 4 is to 1 is to 5. Like that you have to take the mobile phase if you are taking this compound for water. Suppose if you are taking formaldehyde, the mobile phase will be chloroform. So means what here? In paper chromatography, the stationary phase is water which is absorbed by cellulose. Means what here? This is a filter paper. The water we are getting. Okay. So in water, this is absorbed by what here? Cellulose filter paper. Okay. So means what here? It depends upon the biomolecules. When you draw a baseline, you will keep some biomolecules for the separation. Okay, and here we are using different types of solvent which is immiscible with the, means which is not going to soluble with the water. Phenol is not soluble in water, butanol is not soluble in water, and also in the same way chlorophyll is not soluble in water. So this is nothing but choice of filter paper we are going to use. Okay, so in this it depends upon various size, okay, shapes and thickness, and also different types of things, purity, we all have to check those all. Okay, alpha cellulose as I have told you 99%, beta 0.3. So the paper whatever we are taking, it mainly depends upon the cellulose paper only, the common thing we are going to take, that is which is present on the Watsman filter paper. Okay, so this is nothing but what here, This is nothing but choice of the filtered paper. So now let us see applications of this. Applications of paper chromatography. So here firstly the paper chromatographies are known generally. This is very widely used, we can say, whether it in quantitative or qualitative analysis for which is biochemical, pharmaceutical, medicinal compounds. We can use simply this method. Okay, so generally this paper chromatography is used for identification and separation of complex mixtures of drugs, dyes, metal ions. We can easily identify these compounds or we can separate of these compounds by using the paper chromatography, and also this can be used for the mixture of amino acids. Okay, so in the paper if amino acid is present, if you spray an anhydrine reagent, you can easily visible the color of the amino acids. So by that we can easily separate the amino acids. So what we can say here, the paper chromatography can be used for the identification of mixture of amino acids using spray reagent anhydrine. Okay, and also this is used in the mixture of carbohydrates for the identification of carbohydrates. Here aniline hydrogen phthalate is the spray reagent. So what we can say here, for identifying the mixture of carbohydrates using aniline hydrogen phthalate is the compound we are going to use for spray on the carbohydrates also. And also it is used for purification process. This is used for purification process, we can say. And also it is used for reaction mixtures. So these are the applications of the paper chromatography. So what is the first one? For separating the complex mixtures like drugs, dry, metal ions we can separate, and also for identifying amino acids by using spray reagent anhydrine, for identifying carbohydrates by using aniline hydrogen phthalate, and also for purification and reaction mixtures we can use this. So now let us see here what is the procedure of the paper chromatography, what is the experimental technique of the paper chromatography. So in this consists of mainly here different types. The first technique is ascending technique. So in ascending technique what happens means here the mobile phase is in upward direction, then this is, we call it as what here, ascending technique. So what we can say here, the mobile phase is in upward direction, we call it as it is a ascending technique. Okay, so this is very simplest of all methods. Why? Because here what happens means, generally in a beaker, this is a chromatographic container. So in this I am placing here mobile phase. This is the mobile phase I am placing, and here the paper is fixed. This is a filter paper which acts as stationary phase here. To this filtered paper I have taken baseline and spotting the Let us see here, I'm spotting here. Let us take this is a sample. Okay, so then what happens here, this paper is kept to the clip. Okay, so this is one of the clip we are taking to which is in standard position. Now coming to here, what happens then, when mobile phase is passing through stationary phase, automatically the spots will give different directions. A can give one direction, B can give one direction. Okay, so this is A, B, C. So 3 samples we have taken. So now we have to see the solvent front also now. This is the solvent front, and we have to find the distance from here to here, which is known as RF value. So now what I am saying here, in ascending technique, the ascending technique is nothing but the mobile phase, whatever solvent we have taken, it is flowing in upward direction. Then only we can able to see the sample spots, right? So then what happens here, this one, whenever the flowing in upward direction, this one we call it as ascending technique. And coming to second one, descending technique. Mobile phase is in downward direction. If the mobile phase is in downward direction, that one we call it as what? Descending technique. So means what here? Here in this method, the solvent is kept in a trough. So let us take here a container. In this, filtered paper is present. This is a filter paper which is a stationary phase, and here already the sample contains like this different spots, and in this we are having one trough. Okay, so this is the trough we are taking, and this is the paper. This trough contains of mobile phase, solvent. In this we had kept some glass rod. This one contains what? Glass rod. Okay, so now what happens in this means, in this method the solvent whatever we are taking, it is kept in a trough and at the top of the chamber. Then what happens, it is flow down through the filter paper. So the mobile phase is flowing like this to the glass rod, and what happens, it is coming downward direction. See, the sample spots are coming is in downward direction. By this what we can say, the mobile phase whatever it is there, it is passing through stationary phase through the downward direction. That one we call it as what here? This one we call it as descending technique. Okay, so here the movement of liquid is due to capillary action. So this one we can take capillary tube also. So by this what we can say here, the flow of mobile phase is more compared to the ascending technique. See, in vertical means the flow of mobile phase is very slow, and coming to here the flow of mobile phase is very high. So means what, by having these compounds it will be having very low RF values, we cannot be separate. Okay, so why? Because here the RF value is very less, in this also the RF value is very less. By the way, what is RF? RF is nothing but here distance traveled by compound or solute to the distance traveled by solvent front. Okay, so this is nothing but RF. So here if you have been observed, here the RF value is very less, and also here the RF value is very less. Means what, here the RF value whatever we are getting very less values. By this we cannot separate the compounds easily. Okay, at the time at which method we are going to use his, that is third method, radial method. So radial means what, which is in a circular method. Okay, so here the filter paper is placed The filter paper whatever we are taking here, it is in the circular motion. So this is a filter paper which is taken in the okay. So this is the sample we are taking here. So what happens, this is a circular filter paper which is a stationary phase. And coming to here, sorry for the disturbance. So here this is the sample we are taking, and this one we call it as wick of the paper dipped in solvent which is in mobile phase. Okay, so whenever here in this method what happens, the flow of mobile phase is outer from the central spot, right? So here the liquid, the solvent, whatever it is flowing, it is from the outside from the central spot. So this type of development we call it as what here, radial technique, and it is very rare and it is also very special case we can say. Here in this technique what we are using here, in this technique we are using circular piece of a paper which is having a wick, means which is cut parallel to radius from edge to center. That one we call it as what here, wick. Okay, so the sample is deposited to the center of the paper at the upper part of the wick. Then what happens, the paper is placed at the edge disc in the solvent. So this disc what happens, it is present at the edge disc. Then the liquid will flow circularly. Okay, so when you place this at the edge disc like this, then what happens, the filter paper, the flow of solvent is flowing like this. So it flows radially through the paper. By this we can get the here what here, we can get here easily high RF value compared to these two, and we can also separate the components of the mixture by using filter paper. Okay, so what is the procedure by this what we can understand here, the procedure is nothing but here the selection of the technique, means first of all we have to select the technique, whether the separation whatever we are doing, it should be in ascending or descending or radial. It is selected on the basis of RF values, the component which is going to separate. If for example, if ascending technique is separating the RF value more, then we are going to take ascending technique. If we are the separation is more in descending, then we are taking descending. So like that, first of all we have to select the technique, whether it is ascending, descending, radial, the paper which is going to separate more. Okay, and also developing solvent, eluent you have to select, the solvent you have to select. Okay, so we are going to take number of solvents in the paper chromatography. Here the choice of solvent depends upon the components what we are separated. Okay, mainly we are going to here taking is tertiary mixtures we are going to take for separating the paper chromatography. So one component of mixture is that organic solvent, that is N-propyl alcohol we are taking as a solvent, as a mobile phase, N-propyl alcohol, isopropyl alcohol and N-butyl alcohol. So this is the thing we are going to take on this sample. And the second component what we are going to take, water, and the third component will be acid or base, like acid or base means ammonia, pyridine, acetic acid. So these are the things we are going to take. Okay, to form this solvent what happens, these three compounds are mixed together in a separating funnel, and this one is allowed to stand, and then what happens, automatically the organic layer is separated and we are going to use as a solvent. Okay, so coming to sample, so when you are taking a sample here, it is whether it is in one dimensional chromatography or it may be in two-dimensional chromatography, depending upon the type of the complex we have to use. So what is the procedure we are taking? The first thing is, what is the stationary phase whatever we are taking, the best one we have to take is a technique. Why? Because which is giving more separation, that one we have to use it. Second one, whatever mobile phase we are taking here, if we have to take these components and we have to mix it, then organic compound is separated. So these three are organic component. So this is reacted with water and acid or base. When you're reacting, automatically what happens, the organic compound is separated. So after separation, what happens, the compound whatever we are having aqueous phase, that is should be in the standard position. Next, what happens, the sample whatever we are taking, that one will be in one dimensional chromatography or two dimensional chromatography. Okay, so in the next class we can see here, not in next class, today only let us discuss here one dimensional chromatography. One dimensional paper chromatography. Okay, so one dimensional paper chromatography is nothing but what here, the filter paper whatever we are taking, we should have 15 to 30 centimeter length. So means what here, the length should be here, this length should be 15 to 30 centimeter length we should have. And coming to breadth, okay, so the width whatever the width, this is the width should be what here, 8 centimeters. The width should be 8 centimeters, and the horizontal line whatever we are taking, that one we call it as original line. This is the line we call it as what here, original line, the baseline whatever we are taking. So this is drawn at the paper distance from each point. Okay, for example, if the sample is containing, okay, then what happens, so this is one sample, this is one sample, this is third sample. So what is the highest sample we are getting, that one we are going to take as a solvent front. Okay, so by this we can calculate RF value now. So the original line is different and solvent front we are going to take here. So now what happens here, so here the size whatever we are taking here, it is a width, that is 8 centimeter, and coming to here the length whatever we are taking, that is 15 to 30 centimeter. Then this paper, so if suppose you can't able to visible these spots, then what happens, this we have to dry this filter paper. We have to dry this filter paper. After some time, then what happens, after drying, what happens here, the paper is sprayed with some ninhydrin reagent, if amino acid means, or we can dip in a organic solvent. Okay, so then this one is going to raising up now, the constant whatever it taken, it may be in one ascending technique or in descending technique. So after the solvent is passing into paper, then what happens, the paper is removed from the solvent and it should be dried in oven. The dried paper whatever we are having, that one we call it as paper chromatograph. Okay, if the substance is colorless, then what we have to use, we have to, the paper should be exposed to the UV light, or you have to keep it in the spray the ninhydrin reagent. If the paper is colorful, then we can easily see that the spots are colored. Mainly we are going to use this one dimensional paper chromatography as amino acids we can use. Amino acids are colorless spots, because of that only we are going to use this solvent. And two dimensional chromatography. So if one dimensional chromatography, the components are not separated, then the two dimensional method is used. Okay, so what we can say here, in one dimensional it is difficult to identify the RF value and also to find the spots. So then what happens, the closely separated spots is used by using this technique, that is two dimensional chromatography. So what happens in two dimensional chromatography generally, so here re-chromatographing of the remixtures means what, here we are, the mixture, the sample is separating here, right? So first of all you have to see the first direction of development. whatever solvent we are using, that is used for the second development also. So the spot is applied one corner of a paper and ascending technique is performed in one direction while solvent flowing the upward direction. Okay, that's why we say that it is undergoing ascending. So it is going under what? Vertical plane. In one dimensional chromatography, what happens? The A and B are not separated. The paper is then dried. Okay, so then all the solvent is removed, the paper is turned through 90 degrees in one dimensional. So that's why when you keep it in horizontal position, the chromatography whatever we are taking, that is in the second direction, and RF values we can easily find out this. And also if you remove the second development, then the spots will also can be easily known. So this is nothing but paper chromatography. In the next class we can see next chromatography. Thank you.